According to a 2019 study by Finder.com, about 126.5 million American adults say that they have made at least one money mistake in their lives. Now, how can you make sure you don't become one of these victims? Today, we'll talk about 10 money mistakes to avoid at all costs. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and that little notification bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of our video updates. Plus, it helps us spread the Thrive Wise love to help more people thrive wisely. Now, let's begin. For most people, money can be a very sensitive topic. This topic can be so controversial that people will avoid it altogether and only think about making and spending money instead of managing it. The truth is, it's much harder to keep money than it is to make it. It's not unusual for people to get rich quickly through inheritance, the lottery, or other lucky breaks, only to lose it quickly. Pop legend Michael Jackson is a good example of someone who made a crazy amount of money but lost it all. It's not clear how much money Michael Jackson had when he died, but his family made a questionable guess, and he would have made between 40 and 42 billion if he hadn't died at age 50. He was accused of an offense in 2005, and the prosecutors thought that he would go bankrupt because he owed 300 million and had 400 million in liabilities. People said he had $1 million but spent it like he was a billionaire. Money mistakes are inevitable, and no matter how much money you make, they can ruin your finances. Now, what are the money mistakes you must avoid? Here's number 1. Indulging in vices. Doing a few drugs in college may have been fun and seemed harmless at the time, but long-term use can be bad for your health and of course your bank account. If you add up how much money drug and cigarette users spend in a week or even a year, you'll see that many of them are making it harder for themselves to get out of debt. For example, a pack of cigarettes costs $9.08, and many smokers smoke a pack a day, and in a year, this would sum up to $3,355, which could pay for your home's property taxes or even a year's worth of groceries. But it's sad that many people who use drugs or smoke do so because they are curious or because their friends pressure them to do so. This habit will cost you a lot in the long run, both in terms of your health and your money. If you can try not to spend money on these things. Number 2. Not living within your own means. Now, what does this mean? Basically, it means spending more than what you can earn. This is something that many young adults may be tempted to do. When you get your first steady job after college, it can be tempting to spend all of your money on things like a new car, a new house, or maybe even first-class flights. Yep, all of these things are fun to do, but if your income isn't enough to cover these costs, you may end up living from paycheck to paycheck. It's not surprising that when your income goes up, you spend more than you used to. This is called lifestyle creep. This problem can be compared to lifestyle inflation, which is when your living costs go up as your income goes up. You shouldn't have to raise your cost of living because your pay went up. Most people, though, think that they should treat themselves whenever they get paid, which isn't bad, but only in moderation. Instead, you should put this money into investments and buying assets to make your wealth last longer. People probably spend more than they can afford, most of the time to show off. They buy these things because they have low self-esteem and they feel bad about themselves if they don't have it. Social media is another reason why people spend more than they should. For example, a company employee saw an old friend post a picture of his new designer shoes. It was shiny and, of course, expensive. Then, on a whim, he buys a fancy watch online that costs almost 2 months' worth of his salary, and when he got it in the mail, he posted it on Instagram to make up for the quote-unquote jealousy he felt when he saw his friend's post. Falling into a trap of trying to impress others is just like walking on an endless staircase. It just doesn't end, and you will get exhausted and drained eventually. But unfortunately, this is something that a lot of us do. But once you learn to wait for things and stop trying to impress people, you will realize that you actually make more than what you expect. According to Joe Lum, a certified financial planner and wealth advisor at Intersect Capital in California, people can make a plan to avoid this dilemma. This gives them a reason to say no today so that they can say yes to something better in the future. And number 3, having bad investments. Now, this doesn't mean that you don't have to invest anymore. It basically tells you to do it wisely. You see, investments can be tricky, and many people put their money into things based on tips from friends or a strong belief that prices of popular stocks will keep going up. For example, real estate. Many people think that as soon as you buy an investment property, they'll be able to stop worrying about money. They think that rent will come in every month and their passive income will go up in no time. However, this is not always the case. Tenants sometimes don't pay rent, appliances break, or the value of your property going down. As with any kind of investment, there is a risk. For a smart investor, the key to getting a steady stream of income from their assets is to learn as much as they can about a market or product before putting their hard-earned money into it. In short, do a stringent background check. You may ask questions like, will it work for me? Or will I be able to invest in what I can afford to lose? And how much will I be able to earn from this? Don't just get into something because your friends are making money from it or because a salesperson told you that it has great benefits. Number 4, falling into get-rich-quick schemes. Quick money brings quick trouble, as the saying goes. Get-rich-quick schemes are one of the most surefire ways to lose your money. And if you try to follow one, you'll end up in trouble. These schemes include pyramid schemes, Ponzi schemes, and make money overnight offers. These deals are made so that the person who came up with them can get rich by taking your hard-earned money. If you're looking for new business opportunities and you see one that promises high returns with little risk, you should be careful. Think about it this way. If it takes years to make a fortune, and a new business says that they can make that amount of money in a year, wouldn't everyone be doing it if it was true? If you want to make money quickly, use your best judgment before signing on the dotted line. Number 5, not saving for emergency funds. Your car gets hit by a tree, your washer breaks down, you need a root canal out of the blue. Let's face it, life doesn't always go the way you want it to. And sometimes you need money to fix things. And not setting aside money for emergencies is a big money mistake. One example is the COVID-19 pandemic. When the whole country went into lockdown all at once, many people lost their jobs and their means of making money. A survey done by YouGov for Forbes in April 2021 found that the pandemic caused almost 40% of people with emergency funds to use them. Of those, 73.3% used up at least half of the fund and 29% used it all. With that experience alone, it is indeed really important to save up for an emergency fund. We don't wish for another pandemic to happen, but it is better to be safe than sorry. Even though it can be hard to live below your means, you'll be glad you did when the rainy day comes and it doesn't have a big effect on your finances, because you chose to save up for an emergency fund. You may have made money mistakes in the past, just like we did. Maybe it was already mentioned in the video, or if it wasn't, we'd like to hear more about what you did. Leave your thoughts below, we'd be happy to hear from you. And going back, number 6, having only one source of income. The biggest thing that keeps professionals from adding extra income sources is the idea that to make extra money, you have to work as hard as if you had a second full-time job in a different field. That's not how it works. In fact, there are many ways to make extra money that only take a few hours of research and a little bit of money. Other jobs may just take a few hours a week. If you rely solely on your job salary, well, I hate to break it to you, but unfortunately, jobs aren't as safe as people think they are. In fact, in 2018, US businesses laid off more than 1 million people in the country. This basically means that if your job was the only way you made money, your cash flow stopped all of a sudden. When it comes to income sources, you should think yourself as a tree. Do trees only grow fruit from one branch? No, they have branches that produce flowers and fruits. you should do the same. You should keep learning new ways to make your money work for you. Number 7. Using credit cards for everyday expenses. Credit cards are a convenient way for many people to pay for things, but for others, they can be an easy way to get into debt. Even though you need credit cards for some business purposes, relying on them too much can ruin your finances. Using credit cards makes you more likely to make impulsive purchases because you think you can buy anything with a simple swipe. Studies show that when people pay with credit cards instead of cash, they tend to spend more. In one study, people who use credit cards were even willing to spend twice as much. If you can't stop spending with credit, try making it a habit to pay with cash instead. When you do this, you are physically handing over the money, and seeing the money disappear from your wallet will make you feel the financial impact of the purchase more than when you pay with credit. Number 8. Afraid to take financial risks. As the saying goes, no risk, no reward. And if you want to make money, you have to take these risks. However, the risks that you need to take have to be calculated. Some people play it safe because they are afraid of taking these risks. However, playing it safe is riskier than taking risks. Let's say you have $100,000 and you want to save, and you're thinking about two ways of doing it. Option 1 is to put your money in the stock market, which is expected to give you the return of 7% per year. Option 2 is to put your money in a savings account, and you can earn 2% per year. If you put your money in the stock market, you would expect to have $811,650 after 30 years. If you choose option 2, you'd have $182,121 in a savings account with no risk. These aren't even your real gains yet. Let's take a look at the expected real returns if inflation is 2% per year. If you put money into the stock market, you could expect to have $446,774. So if you put $100,000 in the risk-free savings account, you would have that much. All of the interest you've earned on your risk-free savings account has been eaten up by inflation. You would have had to give up $336,774 to avoid the quote-unquote risk of investing. Long-term, the biggest risk you can take is none at all. Number 9. Choosing to save rather than invest. Due to inflation, your money will lose value over time if you keep it in the bank. But money grows when it is invested wisely. It's really that easy. In mistake number 8, I said that it is a mistake to be afraid to take financial risks. People who are afraid to take risks will save all of their money and leave it on the side of the road. You should only leave money in your savings account for your living expenses and an emergency fund. In short, you should save money to invest it, not just to save money. If you save money without a plan, you will spend it on things that are not worth it. For example, if you leave money in the bank, you might be tempted to spend it on things like a new car, new clothes, or entertainment instead. You should put that money to work for you by investing in things like stocks, real estate, REITs, and new businesses. All of these things give you the chance to make new streams of income, which is better than letting your money lose value in the bank. Last but not least, number 10. Having only one bank account. Why, what's wrong with just one bank account? Well, here are a few reasons. First, having only one bank account makes it hard to keep track of your money. If you only have one bank account, you have to keep all of your emergency bills, savings, and entertainment fund in one place. This is why you should have at least 3. One should be used for emergency funds in case something goes wrong. Another account can be used for savings, such as college funds, and another can be used for entertainment purposes. It's a fact of life that people make mistakes, but you can avoid some problems if you pay attention and carry tools and tricks in your back pocket. This video showed you 10 money mistakes to avoid, and we hope you learned something from it. Oh, and by the way, what videos do you want to see next? Comment it down below. Click the subscribe button to see more videos on how to thrive wisely. Thanks for watching.